It's time for another installment of Sea Hunt. It's still alive here on Scuba Shack Radio, and this time we're headed back to Season 4, Episode 25 for Underwater Pirates. Now, Underwater Pirates premiered on June 24th, 1961. This episode opens up with an underwater scene. Mike and his old Navy UDT buddy from Korea, Sam Carter, have found a shipwreck. Mike tells us that it's the wreck of the Toronto. There's a fortune of brass and copper on board, and Mike is hoping to help Sam start up a new salvage company with the rewards from the Toronto. As they're surveying the wreck, suddenly a bell starts ringing. There is some sort of trouble topside. Mike and Sam head up, and as they get to the Argonaut, we see Sam's wife, Norma, looking a bit frantic. You see there's a salvage boat just off the wreck, and a small boat with two divers, Brady and Doak, is heading towards Mike's boat. As they approach, Mike questions them about why they're out there. They tell him that they're going to look for lobsters on the wreck. Somehow, Mike doesn't believe these two characters are bug hunters. The two bad divers then jump in and descend down to the wreck. Something's not right, so Mike and Sam head down to see if these guys are really hunting lobsters. My guess is they're not. Mike and Sam see Brady and Doak on the wreck, sketching on a slate. Mike challenges them and signals them to get out. He can't prove anything, but he knows these guys are up to no good. Our two bad divers decide to leave and head to the surface. Doak thinks he's a real ladies' man and yells up to Norma, "Hey doll, you miss me?" Mike and Sam surface just in time to see Brady and Doak get back in their boat. They almost run them over and head to the salvage craft. So now, what do Mike, Sam, and Norma do? The bad guys are going to wait like vultures to swoop in when Argonaut heads back to port. And the Coast Guard isn't going to babysit the wreck for 4 days it'll take Mike and Sam to get back on site. They have to have a plan, and Mike suggests they use the same booby trap plan that they pulled off at Inchon. The scene now shifts to the bad guys' boat. They have a third guy on board, Charlie, and he's looking at Argonaut when he spots Mike working with a radio buoy. Brady and Doak are trying to figure out just what's going on with this gizmo. Charlie says maybe it's some sort of space thing. Brady makes a joke about that, and you see, according to Doak, he knows everything. We now start to get more details on Mike and Sam's plan. You see, they're going to set up a booby trap in reverse. They want the bad guys to find the trap. Think they're disarming it when in effect they'll be setting it off. Underwater, they're rigging up switches under the cargo. They have set up 2 switches, and Mike tells us they now have 2 chances to cut their throats. He then runs the cord up through the cargo hatch and under some deck plates. Easy to spot. Even a bloodhound with a cold could find it. So now the trap is set. Mike and Sam get back on board Argonaut, pull up anchor, and speed toward the bad guy's salvage boat. Charlie tells Doak that he better call Brady. Mike pulls up alongside the salvage boat and asks who's in charge. It doesn't matter because he tells them he's rigged the wreck with a burglar alarm. It's going to send out a signal to the Coast Guard, and it won't stop until boom. End of story. Charlie is now a little worried. Brady calls him Mr. Spaceman as he says that he can beat the burglar alarm. That's what got him kicked out of the Army when he beat the one at the PX. Next, we see the salvage boat make its way to the marker buoy on the wreck. Our 2 underwater pirates, Brady and Doak, are ready to dive. Doak tells Charlie to monitor the Coast Guard frequency, and if it starts to beep, he should tug on the rope that he tied off to Brady. They jump in and start their descent with a large cargo net. Down into the cargo hold they go. Brady easily finds the switches under the box and traces the wire up. He starts to rewire the trap. He thinks he's disarming it when in fact he's been fooled. The rewire triggers off the radio to the Coast Guard. Mike, Sam, and Norma hear the booby trap being tripped, and so does Charlie on the boat. He pulls on the rope attached to Brady, and Brady heads to the surface, leaving Doak behind. Brady climbs on board and tells Charlie that they need to cut the line to the cargo net and hightail it out. Charlie at first doesn't want to do it, but Brady prevails, and Charlie takes an axe to the line on the winch. The cargo net below, filled with boxes, crashes down on Doak, trapping him underwater. Brady and Charlie hightail it out, leaving Doak behind. With friends like that, who needs enemies? Mike, Sam, and Norma have been anchored just over the horizon, and they head back to the beeping buoy only to find the pirate ship gone. It's time to go down and see just what these guys did. That's where they find Doak. Mike and Sam can't move the heavy boxes, so Mike sends Sam topside for a hydraulic jack while Mike tends to Doak. He can't breathe and is having trouble with the regulator. So Mike takes off his weight belt and pulls his shirt up over his head, turning it into a breathing bag. It works. Sam comes back with the jack, and they're able to free Doak from under the heavy boxes, and they take him to the surface. They saved his life, and maybe he'll be rehabilitated. Maybe. In the next scene, we see Doak sitting on the boat. He's sort of smiling, and he turns to Norma and says, "You send me, doll." Norma replies, "To jail. That's where that cutter will take you." We now see the Coast Guard cutter coming. Doak says, "All right, least I could do for you guys is putting Brady and quite a few others out of business." Sam turns to Mike and says, "Thanks for putting me in business." Mike replies, "I only hoped. Now stay in business, and don't get into a fight with your pretty wife." Sam says that's the one problem he can't whip. The only one. Mike then replies, "I believe you, buddy." He turns with a smile and waves to the cutter approaching as we fade out. So that's Underwater Pirates from Season 4 of Sea Hunt. The bad guys are never a match for Mike Nelson.